Welcome to Icons of Influence, the podcast where we explore the lives, careers, and legacies of the most influential figures across entertainment, business, sports, and beyond. Today, we're diving deep into the career of a man who has defined Hollywood stardom for over 4 decades, Tom Cruise. He's an actor, a producer, a risk-taker, and an unstoppable force in the film industry. From his breakout role in Top Gun to redefining action cinema with Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise has become synonymous with dedication, intensity, and blockbuster entertainment. But beyond the stunts, the fame, and the billion-dollar box office hits, who is Tom Cruise and what makes him an icon of influence? Strap in, because just like one of his action-packed thrillers, this episode is going to be a wild ride. To understand how Tom Cruise became the global phenomenon he is today, we have to rewind the clock back to the 1980s. Born Thomas Cruise Mapother, the fourth in 1962, Cruise had a tumultuous childhood, moving frequently due to his father's job. His upbringing was anything but glamorous. Financial struggles, family instability, and constant school changes made for a difficult start. But one thing was clear from an early age: Cruise had an insatiable drive to prove himself. At 18, he moved to New York with just a few $100s to his name and a dream of making it as an actor, and it didn't take long for Hollywood to notice. His first breakthrough came with Risky Business in 1983. The iconic scene of Cruise dancing in his underwear to old-time rock and roll became a pop culture moment, but more importantly, it proved that Cruise had charisma, screen presence, and leading man potential. The industry took notice, and within 3 years, he landed the role that would make him a superstar, Pete Maverick Mitchell in Top Gun. Released in 1986, Top Gun wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural phenomenon. The film cemented Cruise as a bona fide movie star, turned aviator sunglasses into a fashion staple, and skyrocketed Navy recruitment numbers. At just 24 years old, he had become one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. But unlike many actors who burn out after a few big roles, Cruise wasn't satisfied. He didn't just want fame, he wanted longevity. And that's where his strategic career choices set him apart. In the late 80s and early 90s, Cruise made a deliberate shift towards dramatic roles, proving he was more than just an action star. Films like Rain Man, 1988, Born on the 4th of July, 1989, and A Few Good Men, 1992, showcased his depth, intensity, and dedication to his craft. He earned multiple Academy Award nominations, proving to critics that he had the talent to match the star power. By the mid-90s, Cruise had done the impossible. He had successfully balanced commercial success with critical acclaim, but what came next would completely redefine his career and Hollywood itself. While most actors focus on their performances, Tom Cruise has taken things a step further. He's actively shaped the film industry itself. His move into producing with Mission Impossible was a game changer, but that was just the beginning. Cruise understood early on that Hollywood was changing, and that to stay relevant, he needed control. Through his production company, Cruise Wagner Productions, he's been heavily involved in the business side of filmmaking, ensuring that his movies are made to the highest standards. He doesn't just show up, act, and leave. He's involved in everything, from script development to marketing strategies. One of the biggest lessons Hollywood has learned from Cruise is his commitment to theatrical releases. While many studios have shifted towards streaming, Cruise remains a staunch believer in the cinematic experience. In fact, he personally fought to ensure Top Gun Maverick wasn't released on streaming during the pandemic, and guess what? That decision paid off massively, bringing people back to theaters in record numbers. His work ethic is legendary. Directors and co-stars have often spoken about his unmatched dedication, whether it's training for months for a single stunt, learning new skills for a role, or working tirelessly to promote his films worldwide. Cruise also understands something many stars don't. Longevity isn't just about success, it's about adaptability. He has continuously reinvented himself over the decades, ensuring that he stays relevant no matter how much the industry evolves. But of course, No discussion about Tom Cruise is complete without addressing the controversy that has followed him throughout his career, and that's where we head next. In 1996, Cruise took a bold step into producing and launching Mission Impossible, a franchise that would not only redefine action movies, but also solidify his legacy as one of the greatest action stars of all time. Unlike many A-list actors who rely heavily on stunt doubles, Cruise became famous for performing his own stunts, and not just basic action sequences. We're talking dangling from the tallest building in the world, hanging off the side of a plane, and even learning to fly fighter jets for real. He wasn't just starring in these films, he was living them. The Mission Impossible franchise was not only a massive box office success, but it also raised the bar for practical effects, high-stakes storytelling, and blockbuster filmmaking. Each installment seemed to push the envelope further, with Cruise doing more insane stunts and audiences flocking to see just how far he would go. Beyond Mission Impossible, Cruise continued to dominate the action genre with films like Minority Report 2002, War of the Worlds 2005, and Edge of Tomorrow 2014, proving that he wasn't just about big explosions. He picked smart, innovative scripts that kept audiences engaged. And let's talk about Top Gun: Maverick. When the sequel to his 1986 classic was finally released in 2022, it didn't just perform well, it shattered box office records, grossing over $1.5 billion worldwide, and proving that Cruise's star power was still stronger than ever. The film was praised for its practical aerial stunts, emotional depth, and a sense of old-school Hollywood charm that modern blockbusters sometimes lack. But here's the thing about Tom Cruise. He's not just an action star, he's an industry power player, and that's what we'll explore in the next segment. For all of his achievements, Tom Cruise's career hasn't been without its share of controversy. His involvement with Scientology has been one of the most widely discussed aspects of his personal life. While Cruise has credited the organization with helping him in various ways, it has also led to public scrutiny, media speculation, and divided opinions among fans and critics alike. There was also a period in the mid-2000s when Cruise's public persona took a hit, from the infamous Oprah couch jumping incident to controversial interviews that had some questioning whether his off-screen presence was overshadowing his work. But if there's one thing Cruise has mastered, it's the ability to bounce back. Instead of letting controversies define him, he doubled down on what he does best, delivering world-class entertainment. His comeback with Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol in 2011, reminded audiences why they fell in love with him in the first place. And since then, he has carefully managed his public image, focusing entirely on his work, his stunts, and his love for cinema. So what will Tom Cruise's ultimate legacy be? Will he be remembered as the greatest action star of all time, a Hollywood game changer, a controversial yet undeniably talented icon, perhaps all of the above? One thing's for sure, Tom Cruise is still running full speed ahead, literally and figuratively, and if history has taught us anything, it's that you should never count him out. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Icons of Influence. Tom Cruise is more than just an actor. He's a relentless force, a calculated risk taker, and someone who has shaped Hollywood in ways few others have. But what do you think? What's your favourite Tom Cruise movie? Do you admire his dedication, or do the controversies cloud his legacy? Let us know in the comments or tag us on social media to keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review and share it with a fellow movie lover. And of course, stay tuned for our next episode where we'll dive into another icon of influence. Until next time, keep aiming high, just like Tom Cruise.